How much longer are we supposed to sit back and watch this happen? How many times does Jey Uso have to be blindsided, jumped, ambushed, and left staring at the lights before somebody in that locker room grows a spine? Because what went down on SmackDown, February 27th, 2026, wasn't just another cheap attack. It wasn't just another surprise beatdown.
It was a statement.
A warning. A message carved into the very identity of Friday nights under the banner of WWE. And if you're not angry about it, you haven't been paying attention. The cameras were rolling. The crowd was loud. The energy was electric. Jey Uso walked into the arena with that familiar intensity in his eyes. Not just swagger, not just charisma, but purpose. He wasn't there to joke. He wasn't there to dance. He was there to make a statement of his own. But before we even get to the attack, let's talk about the tension that had been building all night. Backstage interviews felt different. The camera lingered longer than usual. Superstars were whispering instead of shouting. Even the commentators couldn't hide the unease in their voices. Something was in the air. You could feel it through the screen. And when Jey stepped into the ring, the reaction was thunderous. He didn't waste time. He grabbed the mic and laid it all out. The disrespect, the manipulation, the constant attempts to undermine him.
He spoke about loyalty.
He spoke about betrayal. He spoke about blood. And then he dropped a name that changed the temperature of the building instantly. Roman Reigns. Now let me ask you something. Do you think Roman is truly done pulling strings behind the scenes? Or is he still the puppet master of chaos? Drop your answer in the comments right now. Because the second Jey brought up Roman, the crowd split between cheers and uneasy silence. That's how deep this runs. Jey made it clear. He's done living in anyone's shadow. Done being someone's right-hand man. Done being main event only when it benefits somebody else. And just when it felt like he was about to call someone out directly, the lights flickered. You know that split second in wrestling when everything slows down? When the crowd goes from roaring to gasping in one heartbeat. That was the moment. From behind. No music. No warning. A brutal forearm smashed into the back of Jey's skull.
He dropped.
Before he could even roll to his knees, boots started raining down. Not one attacker. Not two. It was calculated. It was coordinated. And standing over him, cold, expressionless, dangerous, was Solo Sikoa. Let that sink in. Solo didn't yell. He didn't taunt. He didn't posture. He just stared down at Jey like he was erasing him from existence. Is this about family? Is this about power? Or is this about sending a message that Jey can never truly break free? What do you think? Was this personal or purely strategic? Jey tried to fight back. And that's what made this so hard to watch. He swung wildly, connecting with a right hand that staggered one attacker. The crowd erupted, thinking he might rally. For a split second, hope flared. But Solo cut it off with a devastating Samoan spike. Jey collapsed like someone had pulled the plug on his power source. And then came the part that should make every single fan furious. They didn't leave. They didn't retreat. They kept going. Stomps to the ribs. Knee to the spine. They dragged him to the corner and launched him shoulder first into the steel post. The thud echoed through the arena. Officials rushed down, but too slowly. Always too slowly. Where were the locker room leaders? Where were the so-called allies? Let me ask you this. If you were in that locker room, would you have run out to help Jey? Or would you have stayed back and protected your own spot? Because that silence was deafening. Eventually, security flooded the ring. Solo backed away calmly, almost satisfied. No wild emotions. No screaming. Just dominance. And as he walked up the ramp, he didn't look back. That might be the scariest part. Because it means he didn't need to admire the damage. He already knew what he'd done. The camera cut to Jey clutching his neck, struggling to breathe, eyes unfocused. The crowd was chanting his name, not in celebration, but in desperation. This wasn't a storyline beatdown you shrug off next week. This felt like a turning point. Let's break this down. Jey Uso has spent years fighting for individuality. Years trying to prove he's not just a piece of a dynasty, not just a supporting act. Every time he rises, something drags him back into the family war machine. Is this proof that you can never really leave that life behind? Or is this the final push that creates the most dangerous version of Jey we've ever seen? Because here's the reality. Attacks like this don't just injure bodies. They forge monsters. Later in the night, commentary replayed the footage in slow motion. The forearm,
The spike.
the cold stare. You could see the precision. This wasn't emotional chaos. This was a mission. And here's what should worry everyone on SmackDown. If Solo was acting alone, that's terrifying. If he wasn't, that's even worse. Do you think this was ordered by someone higher up? If so, who? Roman? Another authority figure? A secret alliance we haven't even seen yet? Drop your theories below. I'm reading every single one. Backstage, we caught a glimpse of the medical update. Jey was conscious, but shaken. Trainers were checking his neck and shoulder. He pushed them away at one point, classic Jey, refusing to show weakness. That right there tells you something. He's not done. He's not backing down. But he might not realize what kind of war he just got dragged into. And let's talk about the psychology here. Solo attacking without theatrics? That's evolution. That's growth in a dangerous direction. He didn't need approval. He didn't need a crowd reaction. He needed control. When a competitor stops caring about cheers or boos and only cares about dominance, that's when championships start changing hands. And speaking of championships, you have to wonder how this attack reshapes the title picture. Was Jey positioning himself for a #1 contender spot? Was he about to challenge for something bigger? Did this beatdown eliminate him from contention, or fast-track him into a grudge match that headlines a premium live event? Because let's be honest, nothing sells like betrayal. Nothing fuels ticket sales like family imploding in public. And nothing captures attention like a superstar fighting through injury. Trivial question for you. What was the most shocking attack you've ever seen on SmackDown? Was this worse? As the show closed, they replayed one last shot. Jey being helped to his feet. He shrugged off assistance. He stood on his own. And even through the pain, he looked straight into the hard cam. That wasn't defeat. That was promise. Promise of retaliation. Promise of consequences. Promise that someone is about to pay. But here's where it gets complicated. If this becomes Jey versus Solo one-on-one, who do you honestly think wins right now? Don't answer emotionally. Think strategically. Solo is fresh, calculated, brutal. Jey is resilient, passionate, fueled by something deeper than ambition. Styles make fights. Emotions shape outcomes. And sometimes rage can either elevate you or destroy you. Another detail people are overlooking: the timing. Why now? Why on this particular SmackDown? Was there an upcoming announcement Jey was about to make? Was he about to align with someone unexpected? Did someone feel threatened by his momentum? Momentum in WWE is everything. So I'll ask again, who benefits most from Jey being taken out? Think long-term storytelling. Think power dynamics. Think legacy. Now imagine this scenario. Jey returns in a few weeks, darker, more focused, less trusting. No dancing. No jokes. Just vengeance. Would you support that version of him? Or do you prefer the charismatic, crowd-hyping Jey? Sound off in the comments, because this could redefine his entire character trajectory. And here's another angle people aren't talking about. What if this wasn't about ending Jey? What if it was about testing him? Testing whether he can survive without backup. Testing whether he can rise without bloodline safety nets. Testing whether he can truly stand alone. If that's the case, then this attack wasn't punishment. It was initiation. But initiation into what? A new faction? A new war? A new chapter where alliances crumble and only the ruthless thrive. We're watching chess pieces move. And Jey just got knocked off the board. But in wrestling, as in life, knocked down doesn't mean removed. Sometimes it means repositioned. Let's talk predictions. Next week, does Jey show up bandaged and furious? Or do we get a backstage promo from Solo doubling down? If they collide again soon, does it happen in the ring or in the parking lot? You know how chaotic those parking lot brawls can get. And imagine the visual. Jey hunting Solo instead of being hunted. Role reversal. Redemption arc. Explosive payoff. But only if he channels this pain correctly. Because pain can sharpen you. Or it can consume you. One final question before we wrap this breakdown. If you were booking this storyline, do you let Jey get immediate revenge? Or do you stretch the tension, let the anger simmer, and build towards something massive? There's no wrong answer, but there is a bold one. SmackDown on February 27, 2026 gave us more than a highlight. It gave us a fracture, a crack in the foundation of loyalty, a reminder that in WWE, family can be your greatest strength or your most dangerous enemy. Jey Uso was attacked. But what was really attacked was stability, and the aftershocks are just beginning. So here's what I need you to do. Tell me, was Solo justified? Was this orchestrated? Does Roman return? Does Jey evolve? And most importantly, when the dust settles, who stands tall? Because something tells me this isn't the end. It's the spark. And sparks, in the right conditions, turn into wildfires. Get ready. Because if Jey survives this, SmackDown might never be the same again.